Welcome to the Level C video notes for identifying, adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials. So we're going to take what we've done in the last two levels, Level A and Level B, and make it a little bit more challenging. We're going to work on some harder problems. But we're still going to be doing multiplying, adding, and subtracting. So let's look at number 1 here. You'll notice this is different from the other levels because we've got numbers in front of our parentheses. Before we can do anything else, you have to distribute. So I'm going to make a little note to myself to distribute first. Super important. So I've got this negative 2 here, so that gives me negative 6x squared plus 4. Then I need to distribute the 4 to the second parentheses. So plus 36 minus 12x squared. Once I've done that, it's simply combining like terms. So I have negative 6x squared minus 12x squared, which is negative 18x squared. Then 4 and 36, which is 40. Number 2, I've got the same thing. So I'm going to start by distributing. So I have 15 minus 12x squared. Now over here, this is really important to pay attention to the fact that it's minus 2. That means that we're going to be distributing a negative 2. So negative 2 times x cubed is negative 2x cubed. Negative 2 times negative 3x is plus 6x. Now if you look really closely at this, you'll notice there are no like terms here. However, our exponents aren't going in order from highest to lowest, so I'm going to rearrange it so it's in standard form, so the highest exponent comes first. So negative 2x cubed minus 12x squared plus 6x plus 15. Alright, now on to some multiplication problems. So with number 3, we've got a binomial being cubed to the third power. So in the last level, we had binomials squared to the second power. So here, before we rewrote it as the parentheses times itself twice. Now since it's to the third power, we're going to write it 3 times. So x minus 2 times x minus 2 times x minus 2. You want to start by just multiplying 2 of the parentheses together. So we've got x squared minus 2x minus 2x plus 4. That's in parentheses times x minus 2. Before we multiply it with that x minus 2, I want to combine like terms. So x squared minus 4x plus 4 times x minus 2. Now, this is just like the problem we did in the last level, where we've got a trinomial times a binomial. So I'm going to make a table. And again, you don't have to use the table method. You could just distribute if you want, but I'm a big fan of the table. So my trinomial goes on top, my binomial on the side. So I have x cubed minus 4x squared, 4x, negative 2x squared, 8x, and negative 8. So for my final answer, I just want to rewrite that where I combine like terms. So x cubed doesn't have a buddy, so that gets rewritten. Got negative 2x squared and negative 4x squared, which makes negative 6x squared. I've got 4x and 8x, which gives me 12x. And then negative 8 doesn't have anything to go with it, so that just gets rewritten. And there's my final answer. Alright, now for number 4, we've got a trinomial times a trinomial. Each of them have 3 terms. I'm going to use the box here again. It's just going to be a little bigger box. I'm going to need an extra row at the bottom. So, got to make sure I have 3 rows and 3 columns. And then I'm going to write my first trinomial on the top and my second going down the side. So I've got, on my first box, I've got 15x to the 6th. My second one, I have 40x to the 5th. And my last one, negative 5x to the 4th. Then I've got negative 3x to the 5th, negative 8x to the 4th, x to the 3rd. That's a positive x because I had negative x and negative x squared. And then let's see, 17 times 3 is 51, so 51x cubed. Ooh, 17 times 8. I'm going to pull up my calculator for that one. $136. Excellent. So 136x squared and negative 17x. So I'm going to go through and combine like terms. As I work, I'm going to highlight the ones I've used just to make sure I don't skip over anything. So I've got 15x to the 6th, and that doesn't have a partner. So that's going to be rewritten by itself. So 15x to the 6th. Then I've got 40x to the 5th and negative 3x to the 5th. So that would be 37x to the 5th. Then I've got negative 5x to the 4th and negative 8x to the 4th. So that's going to be minus 13x to the 4th. Then I've got an x to the 3rd and a 51x to the 3rd. So that would be plus 52x to the 3rd. Then I've got a 136x squared that doesn't have a partner. And I've got a negative 17x, which also doesn't have a partner. So that was a really long answer there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms. That's definitely the longest polynomial we've worked with so far. But that wasn't too difficult a problem. We just applied what we had done earlier. Alright, so if you have any questions on what was covered in the video, make sure that you ask your teacher. And when you're ready, you can move over to a table and get to work on the in-class practice. Good luck!